you know how to shut the rack off if you need to. Just pull it. Should be able to. Yeah, you can do it. Go ahead. Ta-da! A little more hunty than I want it to be this early in the morning. So let me get the tool back out.
Got good lubrication. You can see it coming up through the top already. Just that little start. What should oil pressure be on these cruising down the highway?
40 is usually a pretty good number.
I think it's low. It could be an inaccurate gauge because it's got crappy gauges.
Did you compare it to the mechanic? Is there a mechanical?
It doesn't work. It's down here and it's stuck.
Okay.
So the gauge up front is it's 40 when it's cold, but it drops down consistently until it takes a good hour of driving to really get it warmed up all the way, and after an hour of driving it drops down to about 25.
Go ahead and start it up. Oh, hang on, you'll have to remember this up front all the time. You have to step on the throttle pedal one time.
Now that it works.
And then it resets. Yeah. Okay, go ahead. Just a little.
No, two things. The emergency stop button from the front isn't working, and that wasn't working at all. So I took this is the wire that should be on that solenoid,
okay,
and I just moved it over here. It's just so we had something, just in case. I didn't want to not have anything.
Okay, so just for the video here, on the governor, this was not working. So the way that this little cat, let me take the phone off. Try by here. Let's go to a normal view. Okay, so this has a little cutout in it with a notch, and when it goes to shut down, this pulls up. It allows this to return back here, and it pulls the rack back to off fuel position. And then the way this works, it latches there. You have to step on the throttle inside to move it, and see how it clipped back in there. And then now it'll start. It'll let it go to idle, and then when you shut it down, the solenoid will pull this over, and then that comes back. It's just not pulling it back. It needs just a little bit more help to get it to come back. We had to adjust this length in here was off, and a couple of other things, and then rerunning the rack. So it does not work. They used to have to push really hard on this to shut it off. And we have it now where I did it with one finger and then waited a second and it shut off. So we're making improvements, and it's almost able to shut off on its own now. All right, we're gonna test the shutdown again.
Works.
Yeah, that was a little smokier than it was earlier. You gotta reset it.
Now I gotta remember to reset it.
Yeah, you'll forget.
That before. Now it's gonna smoke because I just cranked fuel into it.
No, there's no fuel. Give it a little fuel. No, give it some fuel. Go use the pedal up front.
Boy, it's not shaking or shimming like it was before.
Oh, it's running much smoother, yeah. We're working on the rack here. You can see the rack's already been repaired one time where they re-drilled it and put a new pin in there, but at the end of this now, there's a tremendous amount of slop there before all that movement before it wiggles it. So we're gonna reattach that better and get rid of it. They can't have that slop. The governor doesn't allow us. Between full throttle and shutdown, that amount of play is a tremendous amount. This is the pin that was in there, and you can see how it's worn. And then a little bit worn there, but not horribly.
Take this left from me then.
Yeah. You want to see what I got going on over here?
But all that play. That's what the problem was.
If I clean this up a bit.
Okay, so we got a fancy new roll pin in there. Now there is zero play whatsoever in that. As tight as can be. Perfect. Okay, let's go ahead and start it.
Okay.
We're gonna start it up, Sage.
That?
We're gonna run it.
Yeah, I'm out. Getting better?
Working on it. If I pop this, that is not going back. So try starting it now. It shouldn't start. Well, it should turn over. Okay, before we mess up our new starter, let's disconnect the battery and let's get those terminals clean back there.
That's interesting because it never did that before, except for when it was really freaking hot. So maybe.
Well, maybe the other starter was okay. It's just.
Well, this turned over faster and stronger.
Yeah. 9/16 to take it off? The battery?
Yeah, the battery itself. Yeah. See that?
Yeah, the wheel bearing's coming off. That is not good, sir.
Didn't he say him and Tyler had all these hubs off?
I have no idea. I think he said that. Will you go hop inside carefully when on the step because it might teeter a little bit?
Yeah.
And I'm under the totter.
Step.
Yep. Okay, turn the wheel all the way. Which is the way you're having the problem with?
I think if I turn to the right, no, I turn to the left when I come back.
Okay, so turn to the left.
That feels okay. Let me go the other way. Feels tighter coming back this way.
Well, these air hoses are rubbing everywhere. Multiple ones.
Definitely tighter to turn the wheel back to the left than the right. Not a lot though. Not enough to be concerned about.
I'm just trying to see what could be catching, because there is that fitting right there. Keep turning it back and forth there, because right about back the other way, right there the fitting's hitting.
There's a click right there.
Keep going, go all the way. And right there, the one air hose is stretched completely tight.
Does that lock the lock almost?
Yeah. But I think you could actually turn more.
No, that's
Is that it? Okay, yeah, that's real tight though. And then come back.
well, I can hear that.
And right there, it's mashing a hose. Come back. We definitely need to get that stuff up out of the way. Straighten out the wheel.
Can't tell which way it is.
Keep going. Right there. That's pretty good. I'm just starting to bend the tab back, but
I don't think this is big enough.
look. So once I tightened the wheel bearing up, then the hub was locking in certain positions, and it turns out the edges of these little bolts were connecting and rubbing and wearing on there. So once it got tighter, then we didn't have that. So we're just going to get rid of the edges on this so it'll have clearance. And then we need to order a new wheel seal for this, and he'll be good to go. Yeah. Okay, so we fought this governor a lot today. The bushings are really worn in it. You can see how much everything moves here. But it's even worse on the inside. We could either have full throttle and hard to shut off, or easy to shut off and not get full throttle. There was no in between. So we found, the play in the rack. We thought we could, that would give us some more movement. And I think that it did a little bit. But then we fought that it didn't want to return to idle very well, because when this was coming back and catching the shutdown there, that was holding it at a little bit higher throttle than idle speed. It took all day. we finally got it back. We can start it, get full throttle, and shut it off. But it was very, very difficult, and it was very stressful. So that's all hooked back up and ready to go. We're gonna take it for a test drive here in just a little bit, see how it does.
All right.
Here it comes. We left a trail of oil up the driveway.
Keeping the dust down for you.
We're hoping that was just oil that was pooled in there and came out at a steep angle. Got a little slower here, so. Nicely stopped. We got flat ground.
Where does it actually stop? I stopped here for a sec. This is where I stopped for a sec.
That's where it stopped.
Yeah.
And then we're going.
Yeah.
There's Larry. And am I allowed to say its name?
Sure.
Stagecoach. It's a play on stagecoach.
Oh, really? I didn't even think of that.
Two brothers.
What's his number?
I don't remember.
Oh.
That's good. Straighten it out. Just, nope. The other way. Yep. That's good right there. Just hold it. You're good. Just keep going. Looking good. Straighten it out. Keep going. Keep going.
Straighten her up.
Okay, make sure your steering has recuperated its air. Are you built back up? How much air pressure? So yeah, wait for it to build back up. Stay on the driveway. A little greasy on there, huh? It's been a long day. Still greasy.